already know just where I be, dog. I ain't being cocky, but Philly what I'm reppin'. Watch me check it like it's hockey. I ain't tryna get it twisted. If you get it, then you got me. If you with it, cool. If not, I'll treat you like a Tamagotchi. I'ma let you down point. Yeah, I never disappoint.
What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to some Call of Duty World War II ranked play. We got Hardpoint on Saint Marie du Mont, and today's video has to do with the game mode Hardpoint. And lately I've been kind of on this, I don't want to call it a trend, but kind of like a little groove to where I've been scrolling through the COD competitive subreddit on Reddit, obviously. And I've been kind of finding a lot of good talking points and a lot of good, topics to talk about, and I've really been enjoying it. So I found another one for you today, and I kind of want to give you an opinion on it, because you know what, that's what the Call of Duties are, here for, is to make talking points on. But here it is on your screen now. Which iteration of Hardpoint do you prefer, and why? So we have, I guess, two different options. We have the Black Ops 2 / Advanced Warfare style of Hardpoint, to where it was a 10-minute game clock. It would just, go down as normal as a normal clock would go, and it could make it so it could be mathematically impossible at some points with the time remaining, and there's no stopping while it's in the Hardpoint. So if it's contested, the time would still go, right? So that's one iteration of it. However, in Black Ops 3 to all the way through until World War II, and hopefully, continuing on, that is a 5-minute game clock, but it stops when it's contested. Or it stops when it's in the Hardpoint, and it continues when it's contested. So does that make sense? If you don't play Hardpoint, it's going to be kind of difficult for you to understand. But let's go back. Let's talk about the first iteration first. So Black Ops 2 Advanced Warfare 10-minute game clock. Now, I kind of want to play devil's advocate for both sides here. Now, I do have a personal preference out of these two, and we'll get to that later on. But Black Ops 2 and AW, the 10-minute game clock. Now, with this game clock, it gives it a full 10 minutes, so it's kind of like you could play a little bit more, I don't know how to really describe it. You could play a little bit more faster, slower paced with that, because you have 10 minutes regardless, and back then, that's when you actually rotated for spawns instead of just flooding the front and hoping to win. But when you saw Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and IW, it was basically just like a sprint at the hill, play a quick trade, and then hopefully get control of the Hardpoint, eventually clear them out, and then push out a little bit, and then you trade some more, and hopefully you keep the Hardpoint. With a 10-minute game clock, it makes it so it could be mathematically impossible, which, that would play a little bit more into scrap time. I guess if you wanted to go back for scrap time, if you didn't want to, like if there's 5 seconds left, and things like that, then there might go back for it if it's a close rotation. But if it's all the way across the map, you might leave a little bit early. I don't really know, but you could see that option. I don't really like that option, because when I played Hardpoint, I always played to win, obviously. So I always be in the Hardpoint, slaying around it, or at least trying to, and I'd usually play that way. However, once it got to Black Ops 3, where they introduced this new, I guess, new rule set, I guess you call it, or new way to play Hardpoint. So it'd still be the same, rotations and everything. However, it would come with the 5-minute game clock, and if you're inside the Hardpoint, it would not go down. The timer would not go down, which is interesting, right? But then you also have, and it stops while you're in the Hardpoint. Then you also have that if it's contested, so if both teams are in the Hardpoint, the time clock would go down. So it makes it so it can't just be a contest fest where you're just gonna sit in the Hardpoint and wait for someone to do something. If the other team's up by like 5 points, if they're 245 or just say, and you're at 230, you're gonna want to go try to kill that person out of it, and hope your teammates can get there and hold off the rest of the pressure. So it's like you have good in both ways, where the 10-minute game clock, you can make it mathematically impossible, because usually it would last 7-8 minutes if it wasn't just like a completely one-sided game. And with the Black Ops 3 to present hardpoint system, it makes it so it's a little bit more, I guess, intense action, because you're never out of it, if that makes sense. And you can always come back. As long as there's time on the game clock, you can come back. And that's a very, very interesting way to play Hardpoint. You know, personally, at first, I was not really with it. But then I realized that it's probably better, to be honest. And that is my personal preference to the present 5-minute game clock. However, the only thing I will say about this is, for a Hardpoint, I wish there was a consistent amount of hills for every map. Because some maps have 4, some maps have 5. I get it that it's like, I guess the how big the map is. I get that part. But I wish it was consistent to where you had to hold 5 hardpoints, 5 hills, whatever you want to call it. And it would be 5, right? It had that set number at 5. Or if you had that number at 4 and you're guaranteed at least one, like one set of rotations into the next one. I don't know. It could go either way. I mean, I've heard people like it both the ways. So I guess I'll put the question to you guys. What do you guys think of the hardpoint system, you know, with Black Ops 2 and AW, the 10-minute game clock with no stopping while you're in the hardpoint, so the game clock goes down no matter what? Or do you prefer the Black Ops 3 to present system, to where it's a 5-minute game clock and it stops while it's in the hardpoint? Now, I will also say this, back in Black Ops 2, they said it was the best competitive game ever. I mean, a lot of people will say that. Personally, I didn't play, you know, competitively at all back in Black Ops 2. So I can't really say, oh, you know, I love playing Black Ops 2 rank play, because I can't really say that. So when I played, you know, I played Ghosts, I played Advanced Warfare. I mean, I played all of the games. But I started playing competitively in Call of Duty Ghosts. And that was when Blitz and Domination were the other 2 game modes other than Search and Destroy. So I've been through it all. I mean, personally, I prefer Hardpoint over in most game modes. You know, then you have Search and Destroy, and obviously CTF in this game. You know, Uplink was a great game mode for the jetpack era. Not so much on boots on the ground. But then you have Blitz and Domination, who were, you know, good for Ghosts. I still wish there would have been a Hardpoint. I mean, Hardpoint is now the staple in competitive Call of Duty. So, I mean, it could go both ways. I don't really know. I mean, I would still play it no matter what, whether it would be the 10-minute game clock and with the no stopping in the hardpoint, or if it was Black Ops 3 to present with the 5-minute game clock and it stops while you're in the hardpoint, or it keeps going if it's contested. I feel like it's a little bit more competitive now rather than, you know, back in the day, because it seemed like when I watched, you know, a few games, you know, with some VODs of tournaments, that a lot of people played a lot slower, you know, back in the day. And I feel like with the pace of play these days, I feel like the 5-minute game clock makes it so the pace of play is a lot faster. Because in the, like, I guess in the past, people would always go for spawns. Always. I mean, you always saw like a 3-man push towards the back, where one person would be going towards the front, and one person would be going towards the side of a hill. And, you know, team break. Or at least that's what the good teams did. However, now it's more of like a one guy go for spawns while the other 3, you know, try to clear them out of the hard point. So, I mean, like I said, it could go either ways. I like both ways. I definitely prefer the newer way of the 5-minute game clock, you know, with the ways I already said. You know, I definitely prefer that. I mean, I'll put it to you guys down in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Do you prefer the 10-minute game clock, or do you, you know, I should say the old iteration of Hardpoint, or do you prefer the new way of Hardpoint? Like I said, personally, I like the new way. You know, I like them both, but definitely prefer the new way. But anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. You know, the game's wrapping up. You know, we're gonna end up holding on to this Hardpoint. These guys are pushing through the artillery barrage, calling themselves attached, and you know, we're wrapping up here. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy, hit the like button down below. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time.
I want you forever, even when we're not together. Scars on my body so I can take you wherever. Like, I want you forever, even when we're not together. Scars on my body, I can look at you and